Hi guys, this is Angela and welcome to my channel. Today I'm painting with acrylic paint on an 8x8 square canvas. The composition is loosely based on a view of Calgary seen from my place. I'm keeping the line work rough and simple, indicating some cloud shapes. I'm using a Stay Wet palette and brand new acrylic paint I've just purchased. I decided to get various shades of one color instead of relying on mixing. By using a broader brush, I'm laying down the lightest sky color using Naples yellow. It's a desaturated light yellow that works great depicting the glow of the sunset. As I'm working upwards, I'm transitioning to Naples yellow red light. It's a very soft, warm pink color. And finally, I'm ending the first layer of gradient with pearl violet. I wanted the gradient to be darker at the top, so I mixed in some King's Blue into pearl violet to give the top of the gradient a darker blue tone. Then I'm using a bit more blue to lay down the first strand of cloud, as well as some distant cloud along the horizon line. I decided to just fill in the bottom half of the canvas with the same light blue color. This way I won't have the white of the canvas showing when I'm working on the foreground elements. I find it very relaxing working with a brush on a canvas. You can blend so easily compared to using acrylic markers. Now I'm going to work on the two clouds that I wanted in the sky. By using the side of the brush really gently, I'm creating the curve of the cloud. Although it looks okay for my first try, but I'm not sure about the transparency of the cloud at the moment, so I might come back to them in the future. Now that I've painted in the background and set the general color and contrast of this piece, I'm starting to work on layers of blue trees in the foreground. Once I've established how light they are, as well as the shape language I'm using for them, I can then go on to work on the bottom half of the composition, just layering different trees, as well as houses popping in and out. Just making sure that for each layer, the trees are making enough contrast against the layer behind it. I finished blocking in most of the trees and I decided to cover up the existing clouds and maybe give it another try. I simply just covered them up with a layer of Naples yellow, and while that layer dries, I'm going to continue working on the bottom half. Once it's dried, I'm going back in with some more confident and stronger stroke but lighter in color for the clouds. I'm somewhat happy with the clouds, moving on to the distant, fainted buildings on the right side, making sure that the colors I use are light enough so they read as background buildings. In order to create the really faint and almost glowy look, I used some Naples yellow to brighten the bottom as well as any area that's touching the back layer. Finishing up the two clouds in the sky, I'm then adding in some strands of clouds at the top. Instead of painting them in parallel to everything else, I'm painting them in at an angle. Having this directional movement to them really adds a lot of interest to the top half of the composition. Now I'm coming back in to add some highlights indicating lights coming from either buildings or light poles. After using the brush, I realized I might as well use acrylic markers to add the highlights. I've never tried to use acrylic markers on painted canvas, and I find that it actually works really well and creates really solid highlight dots that's well needed in this composition. Towards the end, as usual, I'm adding in some birds. Having some tiny birds not only fill in the empty sky, creating a balance with the bottom half. Drawing them in various sizes and color allows me to add interest and guide the viewer's eyes upwards as they are flying upwards. Fine tip acrylic markers allowed me to add really precise lines for these birds. So that's it for this painting based on this view seen from my place. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.